Aloha, this is Joshua Bowles with Lyric Woodwork and Snake Road Sawmill, and I'm really excited to get to share with you today one of the newest in the Woods of the Pacific series, the most iconic of all Hawaiian woods, koa. Koa is endemic to Hawaii, only grows here, and so it's a very special wood. It actually means warrior in Hawaiian. We've been here about 12 years doing this, and there's only been a handful of times that we've actually gotten koa. It's such a special wood that the state protects it, and so they're legal to cut down, and it's also illegal to harvest them even if they are down. So in these cases, I had to apply for a permit with the state, which wasn't too hard, and then harvest the wood and then pay the state board foot price. So there's so many fascinating details about koa. One of them is how different it is in each of the different parts of the island, every different geology, and how much different it is from one island to another. This is a piece of koa that we got from Mount Tantalus. There was a mudslide up there a couple years ago, and it took with it a really big old koa tree. Now, one of the things, because you only get them when they fall naturally. Now, typically they only fall naturally if they're rotted or insects have gotten to them. So these are some rare examples where, say, a mudslide took out an otherwise healthy tree. You can see in this, it's got a really rich, deep color, kind of purple, a little bit of spalting, a little bit of curl. And I feel like this is true with most woods, but holds especially true for koa. My job as a woodworker is just to bring out the beauty of the wood and get out of the way as much as possible. So for a piece like this, I'm not going to use any kind of epoxy or resin or anything that will detract from the wood. And then for a finish, I'll use something like Rubio Monocoat, something that's not too shiny, doesn't look too plastic, but does give some protection. Now, this other tree came from Palolo Valley. This one, as you can see, has really fine grain. It has this curl to it, that feature that koa is famous for, curly koa. One thing that kind of makes me smile is that at U of H, they've tried to genetically engineer and select for this trait, and they've been unsuccessful so far. So that makes me happy. And yeah, it's an unusual thing. Some trees have it, and the tree same age right next to it will not have that curl. And the third one I want to show you is from Peacock Flats, which is up by Dillingham Airfield. This was actually at a lower elevation, and it had fallen across a park road. So Forest Service was happy to let us take it off. And I'll show you, this one is especially curly, and you can really see it when the sun shines on it. I mean, how pretty is that? And then with a piece like this, you can see we've left it fairly thick. One of the traits of koa is it's not very stable, so it will tend to warp and twist a bit, which is why we typically will mill them into like 3 or 4 inch blocks, and then once they've dried further, then we'll mill them further. Another way that koa is often used is it's a tone wood, so good for musical instruments. So sometimes when we have that kind of like really straight grain pieces with no knots or splits, we'll set those aside for the ukulele makers. Another note about koa is because it's such a beloved wood and such a valuable wood, prices can typically be 40 all the way up to $100 a board foot. Because of that, there's a little bit of chicanery on the part of unscrupulous actors. So buyer beware. There is another wood called Formosan koa that looks similar to the Hawaiian koa. It's actually from the same family, but it's from the Philippines. One of the differences is that the Hawaiian koa grows at fairly high elevations, generally I think above about 1,800 feet, whereas this Formosan koa grows pretty low. and it's actually a horrible tree. It's very invasive, and you'll see areas where it's just a monoculture, where there's just thousands of these things. But this one, the insects really go to town on it, and it's even less stable and harder to work with, more likely to split than the Hawaiian koa. So if you're buying koa, it's always good to know the provenance of the tree and where it grows. If it's low elevation, you probably want to steer clear. The high elevation ones are the best. And if you come to Oahu and you want to see some koas, take the H3 from Kaneohe, and up that valley, it is koa kingdom. They are everywhere, thousands of koa trees. It's really something. As I was thinking about today's video last night, I decided to pull out some of the koa that I've had stored and sand it and clean it up. And one of them that I was working on last night is this beauty. Really an exceptional, beautiful piece of koa. So if you'd like to have a piece of furniture made out of this very piece, or if you'd like to come visit the shop and see some of the other stuff that we've got and talk about koa furniture, please come out to the shop. Please visit and subscribe to our channel.